Well, the details of the draft agreement are not available in open media, but from what one reads, the agreement is almost on the verge of finalization, and what it entails is possibly a withdrawal of about 5,000 US troops from existing bases in Afghanistan over a period of the next 4 or 5 months. While the balance, roughly between 8 to 9,000 US troops may still remain in Afghanistan. In response, the Taliban were expected to agree to a formal ceasefire, which they haven't, but they may have given an informal undertaking to de-escalate the violence in the areas under their control, and also not attack withdrawing US forces, which may have to take their equipment and travel through territory which is under the control of the Taliban or the Pakistani side, because they will have to come out through Pakistan, land routes in Pakistan. To that extent, they may have given an undertaking so that the withdrawing US forces are not seen to be leaving after an agreement of surrender or defeat. But this leaves many unresolved aspects of the situation in Afghanistan still uncertain. Whether the Taliban will then engage with other Afghan forces who are in control in the government there, the National Unity Government, which still survives, it still remains an open question, and how the issue of power sharing will at all start to be discussed or resolved.
See, the agreement between the United States and Taliban as of now does not include any discussions with the Afghan government which have been taken place between the Taliban and the Afghan government. Now this is one of the grey areas, because as I believe, the Taliban has been insisting that there should be an interim government, and the present administration in Kabul, they are not willing to recognize the same. So in that context, I think the presidential elections, which are now slated for 28th of September, may come in under the shadow because the Taliban may not agree to intra-Afghan talks if the presidential elections are going to be held. Now, some of the presidential candidates, such as the Chief Executive Officer of Afghanistan, Dr. Abdullah, who is one of the leading candidates, he has already agreed that he is willing to forsake the presidential elections for the sake of peace in the country, that is an agreement with the Taliban. However, there is nothing known as what approach the President, Mr. Ashraf Ghani, who is also one of the candidates for the presidential election, is going to take. So in that context, I think there is a lot of grey area as to how the whole thing is going to impact, what sort of a situation will emerge as far as the presidential elections are concerned, and I think this we'll have to wait and see how it develops.
The most striking feature of this agreement is that this agreement is between United States and Taliban, and not the government of the day in Afghanistan. They have been totally left out of the process, and they were to be briefed later once the draft agreement was ready. The second important feature, or the guiding principles which have been used, is that there will be no interference in American withdrawal, and there will be no attacks on Americans. A corollary should have been that there will be no attacks on the Afghan troops as well. As per the newspaper reports, there is no such report. The second and the more important part is that Afghanistan will not be allowed to be used by Al-Qaeda or IS for attack either on America or on its allies. These are the features, but the issues involved are far more complex than what have been discussed or are available in the media. Even in America, the Foreign Secretary has made a statement this morning to say that he is not, with this agreement, he is not going to put his name on it, because there are dissenting voices even in the United States. United States has also said that the withdrawal is not going to take place immediately, it's going to take place in phases. the local government, the Afghan national government, is not been taken on board. The other stakeholders, like for instance the other countries of the region, although President Trump has been talking about a regional approach, but none of the regional countries have been taken on board. But what draft is being circulated, I've got some people suggest that the countries which are going to become signatories or witnesses to it include India, Pakistan, China, Iran and Russia. Now it depends, with the current state of affairs between Iran and United States, whether Iran will be a member or not. So there are a lot of unanswered questions, and the agreement itself, till the time it sees the light of the day, cannot be commented very seriously upon. Although there are indications to suggest that this agreement may turn out to be a joint statement, which I don't know how will this be taken forward.
Details of the agreement which is in the process have not been made officially public, but some of the elements have come out in the media reports. According to the media reports, 500 US troops will withdraw in 135 days or 5 months from the signing of the agreement. Taliban has supposedly committed to United States that it will not allow the Afghan land to be used as a base for the enemies of America, which basically indicates towards Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Taliban will not attack the withdrawing troops, but Taliban have not committed to ceasefire. That's a separate development which is supposed to be taking place with the intra-Afghan talks. So the agreement will be followed by the beginning of the intra-Afghan talks, which will bring in the element of ceasefire and also setting up of an interim setup, which will decide on the details of bringing Taliban into PowerShell agreement.